Hey guys, my name is Aaron and I like to fix stuff. Today we're going to be working on this John Deere STX 38 riding lawnmower. Hey guys, welcome back. I had a person contact me, one of my neighbors, offering me this riding mower for free. It's a John Deere STX 38 with 38-inch deck. Got the Core Command 13 horse single cylinder engine, gravity fed gas tank. So we'll just kind of go through it a little bit. Tank is empty but kind of dirty. There's some debris in there. And the gas was left in the on position, so chances are that is all going to be in the crankcase. Carburetor probably needs service. We'll go ahead, after we get this running, we'll do oil change. This is a odd looking filter. I haven't seen one like that before, but it's like in line. So fuel filter, oil change, air cleaner. Let's just see if we can pop this off. We should see it does spin, so that's good. Uh-oh. Somebody's been living in here, so we're gonna have to take this cover off. And in order to make things easier, I think maybe we should go ahead, take the hood off as well. You can see like seats in generally good condition. This bead trim is starting to separate, and like the glue is liquefied. So I don't know if that's original or if somebody just tried to stick this back on here. But there's no tears in it, so that's good. There is no battery, so we'll have to pick up a battery. It has an electric PTO. Tires look like they're in generally good condition. They're all low right now, so I'll throw some air in it, see if they hold. The deck, you can tell it's on the highest position right now, but the front is hanging down, so we're gonna have to adjust the front mounting bolts to pick up the slack and get the front lifted. Let's work on the hood first, put some air in the tires, raise the deck up just so that way we can move this thing easier, and then we'll start digging into this nest. All right, we'll go through and put some air in the tires. Like I said, I don't see any major cracks or anything in these. It was kept in a barn. So she said the reason she stopped using it is just because she couldn't get it to start. She bought a new one, and that was that. Just been stored in the barn next to the new one. So if I had to guess, I would think this is carb related. And these ones are on the inside. Kind of makes me think they're put on backwards. I'm just putting like 10 pounds in each one. I can get this one on. Okay, now to get this cover off, they're 5/16 bolts, and these ones you got to be kind of careful because it's going into an aluminum body on the block, and so these can corrode pretty easily, and if it's stuck at all, there's a good chance it's just going to snap off. They're pretty small bolts. Yeah. The 5/16, there are 3 of those, 4 maybe, and then we got to go up to I think 7/16 for the other ones. Yeah, this one might break. It's not happy, and you can't put any heat on it because it's a plastic shroud. So yep, that one broke. It's the dissimilar metals. They don't get along. So let's see here. We got to get. I can't remember if it's 3/8 or 7/16. 7/16. No wait, this might be 10 mil. 10 mil. This is similar to the Poulon and the Craftsman that we did. Those were 16 horse, but the same, a lot of the same components. So looks like our breather tube is cracked right here. We'll have to get a new one of those. And I gotta get 2 more of the 5/16, which in reality is probably 8 millimeter, but 5/16 works as well. That one's good. This one might be trouble. Nice and slow. I'm leaving the air filter on until we get this mouse house cleaned out. I don't want that going in the intake. Okay. So that should be everything. It looks like we got one more here. Another 10 millimeter. And we'll see, hopefully the coil is still good. When they make a nest up here, kind of right where the coil sits. So there we go. This one has a clip underneath. You got to take out, that sits on the cover. Let's see, there's a couple here, so that's this one. Like so. I gotta get a Phillips screwdriver to take out the grounding wire. All right, last one that's got to come out is just this grounding wire. Like so, there's a washer on here. Put that aside. And now we can see the extent of our mouse runs. The good news is, well, let's not speak too soon. Let's see here. It looks like the coil's okay, maybe. Yeah, we're okay there. So I'm gonna take some compressed air and blow that all out. So hold your breath. That's pretty good. So next, I want to try to, since we have the air out already, let's separate the fuel line here. Actually, let's go before this shut off. I want to try to blow out the gas tank, get that cleaned out. Awfully brittle. I don't see any cracks in it. There we go. So now we can hopefully just kind of blow some air out of here. Make sure we go back feed it. That did nothing. It's all kind of dried up in there. So let's just see if we can. Yeah, I'm not getting a whole lot of luck doing that. So I'll probably have to rinse it out with some fresh gas. Let's see here. We'll just put the, where to put the cover? Here, put that back on for now. I'll just button this up. Fuel line is okay. It's not great. There's no cracks. It's just it kind of disintegrated a little bit when we took it off. So we'll keep an eye on that if we get any leaks. Let's see what our filter's looking like. It was dirtier, but it cleaned up a little bit with the air. So, oh yeah, that needs to be replaced. So, you can go ahead and do that, but again, for right now, I'm just trying to mentally get a list of parts. We need a oil filter, air filter, fuel filter, kind of the works. So let's check for oil. does have oil, but it's low. And I think it does smell like gas. So we'll have to drain that. Let's see here. There's a... just looking at the harness here. Because normally this would sit... this little bracket holds it up here. Looks like we got... is that a fuse? I don't know. It's either just a clip or a fuse for the harness, but this side is supposed to also sit up. And it's really tight right now, so I'm not sure what's going on there. This one is disconnected. This is an electric PTO, so let's make sure that's connected. I'm not sure if that would be... well, we're connected here. That's not that one. What would that be for? Does this thing have headlights? I don't think it does. No. So maybe it's just... I think black and yellow is usually headlights. So maybe this is just here because it uses the same harness as a different model. I mean, you know what I mean? Like maybe this is just a universal harness and this is just because this one doesn't have headlights, it's unplugged. I don't know. It's just a guess right now. We'll try to figure that out in a little bit. We do spin over. We're a little low on oil. I think that our solenoid is back under the seat. Yes, right back here. It's 4-post. So that's okay. Our battery terminal's a little corroded. And where does... here's the ground for both the battery and the solenoid. So that's easy to get to if we have to. Let's get the jumper pack. We'll get some oil and we'll get the plug out, put some oil down there. Oh, there is no plug. Oh, that's an issue. I wonder why that would be out. It's a good thing it was in the barn, but again, with the mice in here, oh geez, I hope that's not all dirty up in there. I wish I had a bore scope right now. That would be a great time to stick it in here, take a look at the combustion chamber and see if there's a whole bunch of, you know, mouse nest material. But aside from taking the head off, there's not really any other way that I can tell. We could try to spin it until the piston's at top dead center, but I don't see much. Can you guys even see back there? Tough. I gotta figure out what plug is in this. We'll get some oil and the jumper pack and just see what happens. We'll see if we have any electronic issues that are preventing it from turning over and go from there. Okay, just a little bit of oil. Help lubricate. I'm gonna turn that over just a little bit by hand. Anytime an engine's been sitting, I like to lubricate it a little bit just because the cylinder wall's been dry. It hasn't been getting oil splashed around. It's a Champion RC12YC, fairly common plug. Well, let's see here if we can get this in a spot that you can see. Can you see down there? I have the parking brake set. The jumper pack is on. We're in neutral. Nothing. No crank. Interesting. So we know that we've got an electrical issue. So let me just try it one more time. Oh, he had something there. Nothing. Okay. Okay, here's the setup. I've got my remote switch hooked onto the battery terminal, or the battery lead with the jumper pack. The other side of the switch is going to the input side or the signal side of the solenoid. The black wire is the ground, so we're replacing the lead that comes from the ignition switch. We're essentially eliminating the ignition switch and replacing it with this remote switch. So it works, which means that we have power going through the solenoid as it should. I guess that would lead me to the ignition switch being faulty. Let's just replace this one more time to see. Well, now it's working. So perhaps I just got to clean up that corrosion. That's good. So let's take this off. We know our solenoid's good. Now we know our switch is good. And we know that we don't have any safety problems. Okay. All right, so we're looking for spark now. If I can reach it. I can't see over there, can you? I see no spark. Gap looks okay. What am I missing? If it was a safety switch, it wouldn't turn over at all. Is it because this kill wire is grounded? Of course I can't reach. Well, it must be just because it's bright out, because I just got shocked. Let's see here. Yeah, we got spark. It's just really hard to see. So that's good. Let's throw the plug in, and then we'll spray a little carb spray in here and see what it does. With the spark plug out, you can always spray in through there into the combustion chamber directly. And I don't know why, but it's always just been my preference to go through the air filter. Either way works. Okay. So now let's pop the air filter back off. I'm assuming we're going to have to dig into the carburetor But at least if we know it's going to run, then we can get the service parts. So just a little carb spray down the intake. Now I'm going to put it in full choke, and we just want this to cough and turn over, fire a little bit. Like that. It's going to smoke because of the oil that we put down the combustion chamber into the cylinder wall. That's going to burn off. So I'm not concerned about that at the moment. I think I'm running out of spray here. Oh, helps open the choke too to get it in there. Okay. Yeah, this jumper pack is dying already. I've only had it for like a year, and it loses its charge like instantly. So I'm gonna be looking for a new one. I like these kind that have the built-in air compressor, but this is the second one I've had, different brands, and they don't hold up. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. So we need to get a battery, oil filter, air filter, fuel filter, some oil, and we should be good. Last thing I want to do today before I go and order parts is just pop this carburetor bowl off and see what it looks like inside. That'll give me a indication whether or not we got to do a full cleaning on it. I forgot we got to get a breather tube too. Overall, the body's in really good condition on this. So even the deck, at least the top side, looks like it's not all rusted out and there's not a bunch of grass and debris just sitting on it. So hopefully the bottom side will be equally good. I suppose we should probably at least lift it and see what it's looking like under there. All right. Well, our gasket is toast. So let's come off. And the bowl gasket doesn't look good, but this, I think that mostly just fell in there. Probably should have cleaned the carburetor before we took the bowl off. I think it just fell in here. But yeah, it needs a new bowl gasket. This is just going to leak. I don't know if I have this one. I'll have to take a look. But I don't think we got to take the whole thing off. And that's usually means we'll end up going in there later anyways, but I think for right now we're okay. So I'm just going to put this back together temporarily until I can wash the whole exterior of the engine, and I'm going to look for those two gaskets. If not, we'll have to add those to the list as well. So what do you think? Should we, I suppose we're going to look at deck belts, drive belt, I don't know, does this have a drive belt? You guys can't see. Let's lower the all right, now, now with the deck lowered, let's take a look. This is an electric PTO, so there's tension on here always. It's a little, oh yeah, look at that. There's a big old gouge right there. Big old chunk missing, so we need a deck belt too. How hard is this to get off? We got the front two hangers. And how does the back? Not really sure how the back comes off on this one. Suppose right here, just break this height adjustment nut, and then the whole thing can just pop out. So 1, 2, 3, 4 plus the belt. Let's do that. Let's get the deck off so we can take a look at all the pulleys and everything, and we'll have a full list of what we need to get. Deck is off, and yeah, this belt is chewed up. There's some gashes, so that's got to go. That's all rust welded to the pulleys too. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this one off with the cover on. So we'll pop this cover off, get this belt off, clean it up, and then we can inspect all of our pulleys. I just got the deck cleaned off a little bit. The spindle's great. This one's got a little noise to it. One thing that I'm worried about, these two idler, when it's under tension, they're making contact here on these two. I mean, granted, the belt goes in between here, so it's not like the wheels are going to rub on each other, but the belt's going to be constantly rubbing. I would think there'd be like some kind of stop for this idler. So that way, I mean, it would pull tension, but it would hit something, so that way it wouldn't make contact. I don't know, it seems kind of weird to me, but overall, the deck is in, before I lose that, the deck is in pretty good condition. There's some surface rust here. The chute is cracked a little bit, a little more rust up here. This idler's got a little noise to it. This one I think is just dirty. So we'll see. I'll look and see if I have one of those. Oh, or I might just try to clean it up. We'll see. On the bottom side, it's I was kind of surprised at the condition it's in. Surface rust again. Looks like it took a big hit in the front because it's all caved in here. So we'll have to try to spread that out. But it's got these big beefy blades on it. Look at the size of these things. And they're actually relatively sharp still. So we do not need blades. Yeah, everything looks pretty good on here. Like I said, looks like it took a hit here too. We'll try to smush that back. I'm gonna look and see if I have an idler pulley. And then obviously the deck belt and all the other stuff that we talked about. So I'll bring you guys back once I have some parts in. It's a few days later. I gave this thing a quick bath, and of course it's rained since then. I do have to wash it again because I didn't get everything on the front here. Feel pretty filthy. But we did put a new air cleaner in, breather hose, the bowl gasket, and the bowl retaining bolt gasket. Those are done. I got new battery put in. Plan for now. Oh, fuel filter too. Got that put in. We painted the deck. Turned out okay. I cleaned up all of these idler pulleys. They're grinding right now because they're touching. I think once the belt is on, there's enough slack in this idler to keep it separate. I don't know about that for sure, but the paint turned out okay. I just kind of spot painted. I didn't strip this one. It was just, it had some surface rust like in this spot here. So it's kind of bubbled, but I think it's about as good as it's going to get. The underside was good. I did sharpen the blades, so that's good. The plan for today, we're going to hopefully get this thing to fire up, get it to warm up to temp, and then we can do an oil change. At that point, we're just waiting on the belt to come for the deck. We throw it back on, more or less be done. So let's see here. Brake is on. We're in choke, neutral. Should be good to go. Let me get rid of this thing. That's the old breather hose. Let's see if this thing will fire up. Kind of wants to die as we lower the idle. Maybe we'll just let it run for a little bit to warm up. Well, it still wants to die at idle, so we might have to take that carb off and clean it. It looked okay inside, but that's usually how it goes. When I don't take it off, it needs to be cleaned. So we'll deal with that. But now that we got it a little warmed up, let's go ahead and see what this oil looks like. Yeah, kind of milky, kind of watery. Can't remember. Did we think there was fuel in here? I don't know, but And there's definitely water. So we'll let that drain out. I'll throw some fresh oil in, and then I don't have the deck belt yet, so I think it's supposed to come today, but we'll see. If it comes, this afternoon, then I'll probably throw that on so we can get the deck on. Let's check. Our tires were low. Those ones seem to be holding. For once, all of our tires seem good. That's a good sign. All in all, it's a nice machine. I wish I had a good John Deere matching paint just to give some of this a touch up here where it's been scraped off. I'll look around. I might have some, but that needs to get swapped out for sure. So to get this carb off, we're just gonna take this hose clamp off the fuel line. I do have the fuel line shut off, but there's gonna be a little bit of fuel still in here. I got you guys right up close, so I gotta get a pair of pliers to pull that fuel line off. Otherwise, we can go ahead and, is that gonna be 7/16? 10 mil, I bet. Yeah, 10 millimeter. You take these two nuts off, and this will take off the air cleaner housing. I should probably just do the carburetor even when I don't think I need to, because if I don't, then I end up having to do it later. There's one. There's two. Now the air cleaner can come off, except it's held on by the breather hose that we just put on. So we can take that off. Now it slides right out. So there is a gasket on this side. Now there's nothing holding this on really, except for the two linkages and this fuel line. So I like using these kind of rounded pliers. They're meant for fuel lines. It wraps around the line better, and it gives you more surface area to grab on so you don't tear the fuel line. And like I said, there's a little bit of gas in here, so I'm going to drain that out. Tuck that out of the way. Now, carburetor can pull off. And we've got two linkages here. Which one wants to come first? You guys are kind of in the way. Let me back you up. There's one. There's the other. All right. We'll take this in the shed and open it up to see what we got going on. All right, I just kind of rinsed off the outside, just so we're not contaminating it further. Residual gas in there. We'll take our float pin out. Maybe. Does not want to go. Let me try a little teeny punch. Try not to destroy our new bowl gasket. There we go. And our needle looks pretty good. The rubber tip. So float looks okay. No cracks or anything. There's not really a whole lot that you can service on these carbs. The emulsion tube does not come out. This mixture screw, I think, is the only one. So let's take a look at that. Otherwise, we're just going to spray out the different jets and call it good, because, like I said, this carb, there's not a whole lot you can do. So this one, I'll try a little teeny screw flathead. So one, about 1.5. So like 3/4 of a turn out. That might have something to do with it. It should be about 1.5. That's pretty good. We just want to make sure all the passages are clear, which there really aren't too many. The main jet there, that was clear. So I think what we're going to do is just put this back on. I'm going to clean up this gasket surface a little bit. We'll put it back together, throw it back on the machine. New filter's on. We got some fresh oil in there. I ran out. So I'm about, it's on the lower hash mark. You know, it's going to drop once we run it because it's going to fill up the oil filter. But we're good to just fire it up and just, you know, check for leaks and whatnot. I'll have to pick up some more oil here whenever I can, but it needs about 8 more ounces. So turn the fuel on. I just want to see if cleaning the carb out did anything for us. Probably going to take a few cycles to get the fuel up to the carburetor. All right, we lost something here because our governor was not responsive. So my linkages might be, yeah, my linkages are backwards. That's what I did. And it looks like we got a fuel leak here too. So I am going to have to replace this fuel line. Right, I ended up replacing this line and this line. Got the linkages put back the correct way this time. You guys didn't tell me, so thanks for that. Let's try it again. And it still doesn't want to idle very well. Yeah, I only have like half of the full range here. So on these Kohlers, there's not really carburetor adjustment. You adjust it with the plate here with a T30 bit. And I just want to loosen these two retaining screws so we can fire it up and then adjust it. Right now it's in the middle where it probably should be. If we raise the plate up, that speeds up the engine. So I just kind of want to play with it a little bit, see if we can dial it in, get a little more idle speed. So let's fire it up. Yeah, still it wants to die as soon as we lower the throttle. So that doesn't make an adjustment at all. It's got to be low idle circuit that's plugged in here. So even though we had the carburetor off, apparently we didn't clean out the low idle circuit well enough. We can try this mixture screw and see if that does anything for us. So we're going to start it up again. It's going to be in high idle. So here's low idle, and then it wants to die. So I'm just trying to go in and out a little bit to try to see if we can find a sweet spot where it'll still be responsive. That's about right there. It idles nicely on the low side, and then as soon as I give it some throttle, now the problem is that it's it's too rich when you idle it up or when you throttle it up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this plate back where it was. We didn't move it a whole lot. Right there. And I'm just going to keep messing with this adjustment screw until we get something that we're happy with. Yeah. Yeah, if I go in too far, then I don't have enough on the low end. But if I go out too far, then it's too rich. Well, I'm going to keep playing with this until we get it dialed in. Well, I got it dialed in, but I was noticing there was a lot of vibration in the engine. I don't know if you caught that. I was just about to run down to the mailbox to get the deck belt because that came in. And I thought I would take a look. I don't know if you can see. I'll try to get you in the right spot. Well, up behind that belt, there should be an engine mounting bolt. Two of them are gone, and one of them was exceptionally loose. So that's going to throw a snag in things. I'm going to have to get a couple of bolts. So let's put the deck on. I have the belt on. It's around the electric PTO right now. I'm hopeful that this is the right size. It's an aftermarket belt. These are the little hangers right here. There's a bushing. I'm not really sure why. It doesn't really do anything. That goes on the upper one. So it goes like that and like that. Can you see that? It just slides in here and it hangs on this upper one. So that's why. Okay, that's gonna be, we gotta lower the draft links if I can do that. All right, it's gonna get us a little bit closer. So we gotta be kind of like that and do it all. Try to get these holes to line up and hold these and lift the deck. Okay, we're in. Now there's a nut on either side. I just want to get these started so they don't fall out. The deck is probably going to have to get jostled around a little bit. We're rubbing on the front wheel here, so the other side's going to have to pivot some. Like that. A little bit more like that. So that hanger is just sitting there right now. Let's go throw the other side in and we'll have a better idea. Same thing on this side. We got our bushing. That's going to sit in there. And I got to lift a little bit on the deck. And that's in. Now I'll just start these two. If I can. There's one. There's two. Now we're very loose on the belt, so that is not good. We're like an inch too big. I'm gonna have to. I might have it I might have it fed incorrectly. I'll have to look at that. Well, I was hoping to get this thing wrapped up today, but unfortunately we're going to have to wait because that belt is the wrong size. I took it off, but I left the deck on. I think there's enough room that I can get it on, and if need be, we'll take it off when the time comes, if it comes to that. But I got to get 2 more bolts for this belt guard. Missing those 2, and 2 engine mounting bolts. So I'll have to run to the hardware store one of these days, pick up some hardware, and try to find the right belt. It's a couple days later. I had to wait for some parts to come in. New belt. That went on just fine. This one, the second one that I put on here, was 96.5 inches, I think. The first one I tried was 102 1/4, and that was obviously too big. Just had the hood sitting on there because I gave it a bath. Got the front cleaned up a little bit better. I did find the 2 M8 bolts for the engine mount, and then I picked up this M6 bolt for the belt cover. Got everything cleaned up pretty well. I still have yet to test it, so I was just kind of waiting for things to dry off. And I figured once it was dry, we could take it for a spin, you know, test out the deck and the transmission. The drive belt looked okay. I didn't think it was worth replacing, but we'll see if it slips at all. So yeah, I got to get the hood attached on here. She had told me originally that she had lost one of these springs. These are just the retaining springs for the hood, I guess. But I found the second one was just sitting on the deck. When I took that off, it was just, you know, down there somewhere. So I got to get that put back on here. And then, you know, it's 90 degrees and humid today, so it shouldn't take too long to dry. But once that finishes drying, we can take it for a spin. Let's see how this does. We got choke on. I'd say the drive belt is okay. Reverse. Yep. There's 5th gear. Try the PTO. I'm happy with that. It runs, it drives, it cuts. We got that carburetor dialed in a little bit better, so it idles nicely and it's still responsive to the throttle. So I think that turned out pretty well. All I have left to do is just grease the front axles. the two grease fittings here. But I think I'm gonna wrap this project up here. You guys don't need to see that, do you? So I'm gonna get ready for the next one. If you guys like this video, please consider subscribing. It really helps out. Until next time, thanks for watching.